So I'm a multimillionaire, but I started broke, like blue collar, Midwest, had to get student loan debt for college, worked at Cold Stone Creamery singing for tips, that kind of broke. And in this video, I want to share with you 7 things I wish I could go back and tell my broke 21-year-old self. It would have made me a millionaire faster. Plus, 1 book recommendation that may be above every other book made me a millionaire. So grab a pen, write this stuff down. It's going to make you a millionaire someday as well. So here you go. 7 things I would tell my broke self. Number 1, surround yourself with older, wiser mentors. Their trials and tribulations, they become your stepping stones, enabling you to go faster, farther, and honestly, have way more fun. Like your ego and my ego told me that I can do this without help. I can do it by myself. And you know what? I did okay. But listen, if I would have just shut up and listened to other people rather than always talk all the time and humbled myself, I would be a lot further along. So find some older mentors, ask some questions, listen to their stories. It doesn't mean you have to follow every single thing that they did, but glean their wisdom and let it change how you think. You know, Plato once said, wise men talk because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something. If that quote rocked your world, hit that little like button below the video and we'll continue. Okay, number 2 is actually pretty practical, and it starts with a story that's kind of painful to tell. So I'm 18 years old, finally on my own. I'm at a department store buying a new pair of pants for $50. And they tell me I can save 5% if I open a credit card. $250? Sign me up, baby. And then I kind of started that trend in my life of consumer debt. If I wanted something and I didn't quite have the money, that's okay. I can just make payments on it over time. So the second piece of advice to my broke self is this: consumer debt is quicksand for your dreams. And look, I take full ownership of my stupidity back then, but I also want to indict the public school system in America because teens don't know about this stuff. They need to know that every debt swipe trades future freedom for present pleasure. Ooh. It's a good one, right? Now, I'm not one to say that all debt is bad. I'm not like Dave Ramsey here. Like, I have hundreds of millions of dollars in debt, but that's not consumer debt. It's fixed rate mortgages on cash flowing real estate through my company, Open Door Capital. So that's the advice, broke Brandon. Live within your means today or pay the price tomorrow. And that actually brings me nicely to number 3. So for years, I wanted a Tesla, but I didn't want the payment of having a Tesla. See, I learned my lesson from, tip number 2 in the $50 jeans. So I made a challenge for myself. I can buy a Tesla with payments even if I can buy a rental property that produces enough real estate, actual pure cash flow every single month to cover the payment. So that's exactly what I did. And I did it with no money down, actually. So advice to my broke 21-year-old self: you can have the big fancy toys if you want it, but buy assets and make those assets pay for the liabilities. Those are fancy words for buy stuff that makes money and use the profit from that to buy stuff that loses money. Plus, not only did that property make me over $1,000 in cash flow every month, more than enough to pay the payment on the Tesla, today it's worth like $500,000 more than what I paid for. So free Tesla and automatic wealth building. So remember this: every asset you acquire is like planting a tree that provides shade for your future self and future generations to come. And number 4, this is a quick one, and I'm going to violate one of the tips I just gave. Backpack and travel overseas for a month or 2, even if you have to violate tip number 2. That's right. Someday you're going to have a career, kids, wife, responsibility. Build some incredible memories now. Just don't go into too much crazy debt to get it done. See, I went to Europe for 3 weeks with my wife when we were like 24 years old. I wish I would have gone for 3 months. And hey, let me know in the comments, where would you love to spend a few months overseas? I'd love to see some of your answers. Number 5, when it comes to how you're going to build your wealth, cash flow, your business, your real estate investing, whatever, know this: it's usually way more important that you decide than what you decide. I mean, you can make big money in any industry. Just pick something and stick with it, and then improve continually. Become world class and pivot when you need to, and then crush it with persistent consistency. There's a good word for you, a phrase: persistent consistency. Now write this down, tattoo it to your forehead backwards so you see it in the mirror every morning. Prosperity grows where dedication is deep. Number 6, here's how to win in business guaranteed. Do the hard and rare things. Now here's what I mean. Think about it like this. People love diamonds, not because there's a ton of them around, but it's because they're super rare. They're tough to find. In the same way, the world doesn't just notice people with easy skills. It pays attention to those who tackle tough things. So when you're figuring out what to learn, choose what's hard but also really useful. Go for the skills that not everyone has, and you'll stand out in any crowd. Double down on that tip. Hear this. There is an epidemic in America that saturates every business, every industry, everything. Mediocrity. People work just hard enough to not get fired. So be different. Stand out. Don't ask how little work can I do to get the results needed. It's like, how much can I do to excel, to guarantee success. And by the way, a great book recommendation on this, So Good They Can't Ignore You from Cal Newport. And let me know in the comments if you've read that and what you think. That book freaking changed my life. Perfect transition to the 7th thing I would tell my broke self at 21. Read a lot of nonfiction. Look, I know it's not as fun as swiping TikTok or playing video games, but with nonfiction, you are digging into the mind of someone with like 10, 20, 30 years of experience, and it breaks down all that experience into easy to consume knowledge that'll dramatically improve your life. All for like 20 bucks. This is unbelievably valuable, you guys. But like, do you know 42% of college grads never read another book after they graduate college? Remember this sobering quote from Mark Twain: "A person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read." So get all the advantages you can. Read some freaking books. Even 10 minutes a day will change your life forever. And hey, I read like a book a week on average. So if you want to get my book recommendations, what I'm learning, what I'm reading, and what I'm doing every week, join my free newsletter. I send it by text every single week. Just go to beardybrandon.com. All right, speaking of that, my name is Brandon Turner, Beardy Brandon on social media, and that's my advice for my broke 21-year-old self. You know, do all that like and comment and subscribe and all that jazz if you found this helpful.